Hi friends, welcome back to Parnika Tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss about list rendering concept in React. So I sincerely request everyone to watch the complete video for better understanding. When you build web application, usually you will find a scenario where you need to display a list of items like list of names, list of products, list of courses, list of students who have registered for a particular course, list of teams which are participating in a tournament, etc. We want to repeat some HTML for each element in the list. If you want to implement the list rendering concept in React, we need to use the map method. Map method is used to quickly iterate over an array and return a new array with the desired changes to apply. One of the best thing about the React is it relies on the JavaScript and not introduce new methods to manipulate and render the data. So in JavaScript, we have the map method. The same map method, we can use it in React to do the list rendering. So the map method accepts a function as an argument, and that function will manipulate the each element in the array, and finally it produces the resultant output. So the map method goes over each element in the array and applies a transformation specified in the function body. Let me discuss how the map method works in JavaScript. Then I will discuss in detail about list rendering concept in React. So let me go to the Visual Studio. In the component, let me create a new file called as map1.js. Let me save this one. In this one, I will define an array. So where array1 having the elements as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I will write const map1 is equal to array1 dot map method. As I said earlier, map method accepts a function as an argument. So I will give an arrow function. So I will write x arrow operator x into 2. So what I am doing is I am taking each element from the array and then multiplying with 2, and then finally I want to display it. So I will write console.log map1. Let me save this one and run it. So you will get the output as 2468. Why you are getting the output as 2468? Now if you look at all the elements in the array is 1, 2, 3, 4. So each element you are taking and you are multiplying with 2. So you are going over each element in the array and then applying a transformation. Here the transformation is each element I am multiplying with 2. All the elements will be stored in map1 and then finally I am displaying the map1. Now if I say x into 8, then each element will be multiplied by 8. So you will get 8, 16, 24, 32. If you want to verify, let me run the code. Now you see we got the output as 8, 16, 24, 32. I hope you have understood how the map method works in JavaScript. Now let me discuss the list rendering concept in React.js. To make you understand this concept, let me go to the components and let me create a new file called list render ex.js. In this file, I want to create a functional component using the React snippet. If you want to create a functional component using React snippet, you need to type rfce and press enter. Now you can see we have created one functional component called list render ex. In this component, I want to create an array of names. So I will define an array. So I will write const and the name of the array is names, and then inside that one I will have Jagadeesh as one element, and then I will give Siri as another element, and then Parnika is another element. Now I want to display each element. Now you know that in array always the array index start from 0. So in the 0th index you have Jagadeesh, in first index you have Siri, in second index you have Parnika. Now let me discuss each element in the array. So in in the div tag using the header tag h2, I want to display each element in the names array. So I will give names of 0, and this names of 0 you need to provide within the curly braces. Let me copy this one and paste it. So in place of 0th index, I will provide first index. In place of first index, I will provide the second index. Now let me save the list render ex.js. Now let me import the list render ex in the app.js. So I will write list render ex from components list render ex. Let me give here list render ex self closing tag. Let me save this app.js. Let me save the list render.js. Let me go to the terminal, new terminal, and then I will give cd example1, and then let me give npm start. Now you can see we got the output as Jagadeesh, Siri, Parnika. Why you are getting the output as Jagadeesh, Parnika, Siri is in the names array at the 0th index you have Jagadeesh that you are displaying. In names array you have Siri and the index 1, so that you are displaying. At the names array second index you have Parnika, that is going to displayed. Now I want to use the map method to display all the elements in the name array. So what I will do is that I will use the map method to render the list of names. So in the div tag I will delete this h2 header tag, and then I will provide maps method. So I will write names dot map. As I said earlier, map method accepts a function. So here I will use the arrow function. So I will use the name arrow operator, and then I will use the header tag h2, and then I will within the curly braces I will provide the name. Now let me save this one. To make you understand, let me provide Jagadeesh 1, Siri 2, Parnika 3. Let me save it again. Let me save the app.js. Now if you go to the browser, you can see the output as Jagadeesh 1, Siri 2, Parnika 3. So we have used the map method to render the list of names. This is fine. I want to keep the return statement simply by moving out the list rendering logic. So what I will do in the list render ex.js, whatever the code I have written in the return statement, that I will move out. So I will write const name list is equal to whatever I have written here. I will copy this one and paste it here. Inside the div tag only I will use the name list. Let me save the code. To make you understand, let me modify it. Jagadeesh 1 2, Siri 2 3, Parnika 3 4. Let me save the list render ex.js, app.js, and go to the browser. You can see the output as Jagadeesh 1 2, Siri 2 3, Parnika 3 4. So we have discussed how to use the map method to render the list of names. You are going to have a list of objects with a few properties that have to be rendered. Here if you see, we have a list of names only, but usually you will have list of object. Each object have certain properties. All of them need to be rendered. Now let me discuss this concept practically with an example so that it will be clear for you. Instead of names, I will give persons. So const persons, I will have various properties for each object. So id 1, and then name is another property. I'll give the name as Jagadeesh, and then age is another property. I will give age as 30, and another one I will take id 2, name as Siri, age 25, and then id is equal to 3, name Parnika, and then age 6. So for each person in the list, we now need to render the name and age. So what I will do, in the const, instead of name list, I will give person list, and then I want to render here. So instead of names, I will give the persons, and then I will use the map method, and the map method accepts a function. I will use the arrow function. So I will give person arrow operator, and then I will use the h2 header tag. Inside that one, I will provide I am, within the curly braces I will use the property. So person dot name dot my age is, and then within the curly braces I will write person dot age, and in place of name list I will give the person list. Let me save this one. There are two errors are there. Let me rectify those errors. Here I forgot to provide the comma. Let me save this one. There are still two errors are there. Here we provided the equal. Instead of this one, we need to provide this one. Now it is successful. Let me save the list render ex.js, app.js. Now you can see we got the output as I am Jagadeesh, my age is 30. I am Siri, my age is 25. I am Parnika, my age is 6. Now let me go to this one, and let me remove this one also. Let me save this one, go to the browser. Now you can see the output properly. I am Jagadeesh, my age is 30. I am Siri, my age is 25. I am Parnika, my age is 6. Now you can see we have list of objects with a few properties that have to be rendered. In such scenarios, it is good to refactor the JSX into a separate component and then use the component in the map method. However, this process there is no issue. Whatever the code we have written, there is no issue. But it is good to refactor the JSX into a separate component and then use the component into map method JSX. To do this one, let me go to the components and right click on it and click the new file, and then I will give person1.js. Let me press enter. In this file we want to create a function component. So what I will do, I will use the React snippet. Using the React snippet, if I press RFCE, then you can find the functional component. So I have successfully created one functional component called person1, and whatever the h2 tag is there in the list render.ex, I can remove it and paste it in the person1.js. In the list render ex component, map method includes the person1 component in passing the person as a prop. So in the person, I will open the curly braces, I will provide the person1, and then I will provide person is equal to, I will provide person, and then I will close the self-closing tag. And in the list render ex.js, I need to import the person1. So I will write person1 from, I'll provide ./person1. Let me save this one. And finally, what I need to do, in the person1 component, we can destructure the prop right in the parameter. So in person1, I need to destructure the person. Okay, let me save this one. In the list render, in place of Jagadeesh, let me provide Jagadeesh1, Siri 2, Parnika 3. Let me save this code, person1.js, app.js. Let me go to the browser. Now you can see I am Jagadeesh1, my age is 30. I am Siri 2, my age is 25. I am Parnika, my age is 6. So this list render ex component is only responsible for rendering the list. The person1 component is responsible for rendering the person HTML. Now you will think that our code is proper. If you want to see an error, let me go to the inspect and then you can see the console. There is some issue. Now you can see we got an error. Look here. Now you can see each child in list should have a unique key property. This is a warning message. How this warning message we can overcome, I will discuss in the next video. So whatever the concepts I have discussed in this video, I hope you have understood. If you still have any doubts related to this concept, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.